There's that good boy. Yeah, come here. He likes it. Ah! Is it good? Carmen likes it too. Nom 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 nom. He's mad I put sunscreen on his nose. Hi, Sorry. Hey, Jules Crew. So I know there's a lot of new subscribers to my channel, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you're new to my channel and you don't quite know what it is yet, this is Buck. He's my 4-year-old quarter horse. My name is Jules. I'm a registered nurse and I'm in CRNA school. I just bought my own horse farm this past year. Bought Buck as a 3-year-old colt in March, end of March we got Buck. And he was green broke. He'd been ridden less than 30 times, but I liked the way he looked and I liked the way he moved, so I took a chance on him. Took him for a 1-week trial and then had him castrated, and I haven't turned back since. But one thing I found out about Buck shortly after getting him is he's extremely sensitive. He like that. He's very sensitive to leg aids. He would spook at leg aids. He would tuck his tail under himself and jump to the side, especially with the left leg aid. And he started doing that about 2 weeks after I got him, right before his castration. And it makes me kind of wonder if he got that 2-week sedation, because he was very chill when I first got him. Very chill with the other horses, and then right at that 2-week mark he started pulling that stunt and getting more aggressive with the horses as well. So who knows, but anyway, he was getting better and better about it. And I was talking to my neighbor about it, and he said, well, if you want to borrow one of my Western saddles, that you can, just to have something extra to hold on to, because I fell and hurt myself. And so I tried him in a Western saddle, and he was 500 times worse in the Western saddle. And I think it was because in an English saddle, your legs kind of hug onto the horse the whole time. In the Western saddle, your lower leg kind of sits off from the horse, since he likes the English saddle better. Well, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to nip this thing in the bud. I want to get down to the real problem, so I'm treating him like he has never been broken. Stayed in the Western saddle, did a lot of groundwork, so watch my first 2 episodes of restarting him for all the groundwork that we did. Today, I'm going to show you what we've done since then. I know that this is not a Western saddle pad. I do not own any Western saddle pads, but it fits it okay. It's the biggest English pad that I have. This is just my thin line half pad I use under all my saddles. Helps give a shock absorber for you and the horse, and it also helps the saddle from sliding. See, I've made a few adjustments to the saddle. I went ahead and put my English stirrups on because it has more traction here. The other stirrups that were on it were a synthetic plastic stirrup that were very slippery, and they were very big, and I was scared I could get my foot stuck through them. These are safety stirrups where you can't get your foot through, but it's easy to get your foot back out. They won't necessarily get stuck. And I have very short legs. I'm a very short person, so this allows me to shorten up my stirrups where I need them to be. If he were to do anything funky, I'd rather have shorter stirrups than longer stirrups. The Western stirrups that were on this were a little too long for me. Sorry, Western people, don't hate me. And for all of you English people out there, if you're interested in how you tie a Western cinch, you go through here twice, so once, and then line it back up again, and back through again a second time. And then you take this front and you pull up like that. Sorry, bud, that was kind of hard. So you pull straight up, tighten it as you do, come back through here the second time, come to the side, cross over, come back through under the other side, so it makes a loop, kind of like a necktie, and then you tuck the top in, like that. So it looks kind of like a necktie. If you have to tighten it, what you do is you pull straight up on the front part and then pull it through and down. So that's how you do a Western cinch. Alright, let's get started. Prior to this, I have already lunged him at the walk trot canter, and I did not want to bore you guys with that. So here I'm just kind of hopping up and down, thumping all over the saddle, just desensitizing him to a lot of noise all over his sides. And Ted, the dog there, that's Blake's dog, walking circles around us also helps desensitizing him. He does not like things walking up from behind him, so I'm just letting Ted neurotically walk around us impatiently. So I use that to my advantage to also kind of desensitize Buck. Ted doesn't like to sit still in one place. He likes to go on trail rides, so if we're sitting still around horses, he'll just circle us like a shark. And here I am just touching him all over the sides from the mounting block, and I'm just going to get up on the side and tap him over on the opposite shoulder and come back down. If you watched last week's video, you could see that getting up from the right side was a bit of a problem, so I'm actually calling up to Blake at the house to please call Ted up to the house, just so we don't have any more explosions, since he's not as great from the right side as from the left. But this is a big drastic improvement to be able to get up on the right side and tap him on the left-handed shoulder. So he gets a lot of praise for that. We've been working on that all week. So if you'd like to see the last two videos of all the steps that I've done with him to get up into this point. So here we go. Gonna swing my leg on over, give him big pats. He's always been pretty good about mounting and letting you put your stirrups in, but as you can see here in a moment, this is what I've been dealing with. So I was kind of hoping all the work we'd done on the ground would have helped him and desensitized him a little more. Like I said, go back and watch those videos if you haven't already. We went from walking on the ground and me flapping the stirrups around, which would make him jump sideways, to him being totally fine with that, and several other steps to get up into this point. So I was kind of hoping he wouldn't be quite as sensitive, but he actually is better than the last time I rode him in this Western saddle. Last time I rode him in the Western saddle, he was very sensitive to the right, and as you can see to the right, he's very good, and to the left, not so much. It's whenever I put that left leg on, it scares him. I think he's been spurred really hard on that side for it to scare him so much on that side. So what I'm doing is I'm holding onto the horn, and I'm just trying to go along with him, and I'm trying to keep him going forward. I don't want him to stop. Forward is your friend. So I'm not trying to slam on the brakes when he does it. I just keep turning him to the left. Left is what he does not like. So it's kind of like you're continually asking the question. So I'm just going to turn him to the left, put a little left leg on until he gives me a left-handed turn without having a total come apart. So he did that, so I'll change direction. And as you can see to the right, totally fine. So I just keep him like in this small, and he thought about doing it there, and he didn't, which was a pretty good boy. But I'm just keeping him on the small end of the arena. Ideally, you would want to do this kind of work probably in a round pen or a smaller area, but he's pretty good at not taking off with you as long as you keep your balance. So my main focus is to just try and keep my balance, try to move along with him. You can see I'm actually kind of stiff in the saddle just because I was sort of nervous about this whole ride. I wish I would have been a little looser in the saddle, but my thought process is not to have a tight rein. I want a loose rein. I want him to be able to walk around on a loose rein and try to keep him forward. So there he kind of tried to stop and get sticky, asked him to go forward, and thought about kind of moving to the side, but instead he decided to trot off, which I was totally fine with. I'm going to speed some of this up because he actually starts behaving himself and it gets really boring to watch me walk. But I'm just trying to keep with him in the saddle, try not to get unbalanced, because when you get unbalanced with this horse is when he really loses it. He
does not like the feeling of the rider being unbalanced, and that's when he likes to bolt. So as long as you can stay fairly balanced and ride it out, he doesn't typically bolt. He typically comes right back to you and decides it's not a big deal. So we ended on a good note. He was able to go right to left without having to come apart, so I got off. And then I just wanted to end with something that we had been working on that he's been doing really well with. So I just ended with us getting up on the left side and then going back and getting up on the right side. And he's so funny here. He's actually putting his nose on my shoulder and right in my ear, and he likes to breathe in and blow really hard. He does that after a ride or after he's figured something out. It's kind of like he's trying to sniff me and say, "Okay, Mom, I get it."
He did pretty good, about as good as I expected him to be. I was hoping he wouldn't be quite so sensitive, but he still reacts pretty significant. Yeah. Cool thing about him is whenever we have good progress, he'll sit here and let me rub him, and he'll let out all these really big fat yawns. And they say that that's a horse relieving stress. So I really think what happened to him was when he was broken, he was probably spurred very hard. He came from a real cowboy type outfit. They had him in a really big port bit when I went to go try him, and they wore spurs. So I kind of think he must have just been spurred very hard, especially to the left. I think that's why he's so spooky to the left. As you can see, he's not doing anything ugly. He's genuinely scared. So I think this is him letting out a lot of stress after a ride, and maybe my hope is he's thinking, okay, she's not so bad, she's not gonna hurt me, I can let all these bad feelings go. So another cool thing about him is I can leave him without a halter, and he likes to hang out with you. He really does want to please. He's a good boy. He likes to be around people, which is good. He just needs a little trust. So we're gonna keep working on it. Hopefully in the next week or two, the next riding video will be him not freaking out every time I use leg aid, and maybe we can actually work on bending and bringing his hind end up under him and rounding his top line. My hope was we would be there already, but you got to do what your horse needs, and this is what he needs. He needs to learn that the legs are not the devil. I'm not going to spur him. So hope you guys are having a nice day. I'm going to get him hosed off and some cookies and do some stretches, and Blake's up there grilling, and I'm gonna eat some good food. Love you guys. Please like, please subscribe. Bye. Homegrown grilled zucchini and yellow squash. So freaking good.